to come in, but I just want to congratulate all of you for coming so far on this journey. I hope it continues. I'm excited to hear about what you've learned and how your life has changed, and perhaps new businesses that you might tokenize or start, new jobs that you're looking at, any way of kind of transforming your life. I know when I first took this course over a year ago, it changed my life. I started working for a DAO, and I'm sure it'll have the same impact on yours. So without further ado, I would love to introduce our speaker today, Ankur Vaid. Yes, Ankur, we're very lucky to have you today to share a lot of your knowledge. Ankur has been a startup evangelist and founder with over 15 plus years of experience, bitten by the entrepreneurial bug since 2007. Startups, innovative thinking, business strategies, business development, marketing, strategic partnerships, collaborations, networking, and maintaining a positive attitude towards life are just a few of Ankur's skill sets. He is a co-founder at Unit Network, where he heads up our Department of Partnerships, as well as head of growth at Reflexical, which is an industry leader that helps Web3 founders scale and grow. So, Ankur, I want to thank you for taking time to speak with all the students today, and for sharing some of your knowledge and experience. And if there's anything I've left out, please feel free to add it right now.
Well, thank you, Zach. Always a pleasure to interact and work together. And like Zachary, my life also changed with Unit Masters. I started my journey in the Web3 space after going through the Unit Masters program twice, just like everyone else. And just before Unit Masters, I was a speculative investor. Like just a brief how I started my journey. I was actually introduced to Bitcoin in 2011, but I never really bothered until Jan 21. So I was neutral, but maybe my calling came in Jan 21 when COVID hit us, had some time on our hands and stuff like that. I started, okay, I knew, okay, Bitcoin existed. I had people around me who had invested in the space and stuff like that. So I started digging in, started listening to YouTube influencers, thought I was a genius because I caught like the mid of the bull run. And whatever I was investing in was like 7xing, 6xing, 10xing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And so until the crash happened. But then in that 6 months from Jan 21 to May, I really liked the underlying dialogues of, decentralization, trustless protocols. I love the vibe of the community. So, I really felt that there's something more than just trading and price movements of crypto per se. And that's when I stumbled upon Unit Masters and went through the program twice. Really liked the concept, the learning, and also how the program was delivered. Decided to stay back, joined the Pioneers program with Unit, became a core team member, and now I'm leading partnerships at Unit Masters. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Agama. Thank you, everyone, and congratulations, everyone, for making it this far in the program. Hope the program was helpful and added a lot of value to you guys. We look forward to having you again in the future cohorts. We host like 6 cohorts a year. So the next cohort is already announced for 20th of November. Everyone's welcome to join back again. So just to wrap up the 6 weeks, we've gone through the concept of decentralization and Internet of Value and the scalability trilemma. We've gone through the different ecosystems in the industry. We've gone through the different roles that the ecosystems play in the industry. We've deep dived a little bit on DeFi, DAO, and NFTs, and we've aligned how stakeholder capitalism aligns with blockchain. And in the final week, we are going through token economy. And yesterday, Michael delivered the vision of Unit and also what the token economy can hold for the financial industry at large. Today, I'm just going to, we're going to scan the website. I'm going to quickly share my screen. We're going to go through how the different features of Unit and how easy it is to create your own token on Unit. And happy to take any questions at the end. hope everyone has created their account on Unit Network. If you can simultaneously log on to the platform and see all the features, everything live as I go through them. So if you have not, Zach Agama, if you can share the invite link in the chat, we would definitely request everyone to quickly sign up. It'll probably take you just less than 20 seconds to do that. So I can. So with a raise of hands, if how many of y'all have created the account yet already? Great. So if anyone needs 5 minutes, I can wait. Yeah. So thank you, Agama, for putting the invite link. All you need to do is click on the link, and you'll be taken to the app, and you can quickly create your account, and then you can see what I'm seeing as we speak.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in, Ankur, and just let people know if you haven't created your account yet, it literally takes just a few seconds.
Exactly, right.
And now is a good time to do it. We have like around 40,000 plus users on Unit, which is quite early. So it's kind of equivalent to getting a good Instagram name or a good Gmail account. So you can go on now and still get a great user handle for Unit.
Yeah.
Which in a couple of years, everyone's going to be like, how did you get that name?
Yeah, and we're also going to announce a partnership with Unstoppable Domains really soon. So you'll actually be able to mint your own Unstoppable Domains on the Unit network as well. So anyways, yeah, so great. Vikas, Samuel, Sumit, Salvation. Great, you'll have created your accounts. Like anyone who hasn't, the link is in there. Please use this to create. So let me just get started. So this is the first version. This is like the MVP version of our platform. Our platform is constantly changing, and I won't be surprised that as I'm talking about the platform, I'll see features which I haven't seen before while I'm going through the. That's how we are moving, and this is the first version of it. What you're looking at is actually my actual wallet, my actual account. So this is not a dummy account. This is my profile, and so let me get started. So this is when you log in, when you created your account and log in. What you see here on your screen is all the tokens that I own. So you can see Unit Network. I have some Mumbai tokens, New York tokens, ARC tokens. Superverse is a DAO. Then Davos, so on and so forth. This is USDU is our own stable currency on Unit Network. So on and so forth. So just going through the list quickly, there's a movie token, music token. So these are the global communities that we are building, and we have like Michael. So we also promoting like personal tokens. So for example, we have Michael token, and Michael has vouched to put a certain percentage of all his crypto earnings into the treasury of his token, right? So things like that, the innovations. And so we have our own version of Ethereum. It's not the own version of Ethereum, but it's basically ETH-U, which means that this is the wrapped version of Ethereum onto the Unit network. Since Unit is a layer one blockchain, we need to have like the tokens on the Unit network, right? So without being any technical, let me go inside the Unit network, and basically whatever features you see today, as a creator of a token, everyone gets this for free, right? All of these tokens that you see for Unit. So when I enter Unit, I can go into the overview. So the idea is to have complete transparency. So you could be an investor, you could be a co-founder, you could choose to decide, join a team as an employee or a key personal. You could choose to use goods and services from a company, right? So in all these categories, you get a complete transparent view of what's really happening in that set of uh, company, community, DAO, as you may call it. So in this case, this is Unit. So just an overview at first glance, you can see what is the total circulating supply, right? That means how many Unit tokens are ever going to exist in totality. In our case, we have a billion tokens that Unit will all have, out of which what is circulating. That means out of the billion tokens, how many tokens are actually in circulation at this point of time. So you can see that there are 14%, that is 139 million tokens currently are in circulation. So this gives you a understand. Yeah.
You keep going, but I just wanted to talk about, because I know all these concepts you're introducing, they kind of seem, okay, that's interesting, but they're actually quite revolutionary, right? So I want to break it down and see, like, how does this actually translate in the real world, right? So just for example, the circulating supply with the total supply, right? If you look at right now the inflation that's happening across the world, I'm in New York, so I'll give you the New York example. When the pandemic hit, our government printed trillions of dollars to put back into the economy. So that's basically that supply that he's talking about. It basically has no end. And the government has been printing for the last 20, 30 years, more and more money. And what happens is the value of what's actually circulating ends up going down just because there's more of it in circulation, right? So what most cryptocurrencies have done, and what we're doing at Unit, is you have a fixed layer, right? So can you talk a little bit about what is a deflationary currency and why is that a good thing?
Right. So thanks, Zach. So basically, so like Zach gave an example of fiat currency or USD. There's no cap. There's no market cap. You can print as much USD as the Fed or the few people who have charge of that decide. So there's no limited supply. So that's always going to lead to an inflationary value of your US dollars or any other currency for that matter, right? Until the 1930s or 1940s, every dollar was backed by gold in the physical sense. So there was some value backing the dollar or the circulating supply of dollar, which was removed in the 1970s. If I've got that, it was either removed in the 1970s or 1940s. It was removed.
71.
1971, exactly. Nixon came and removed it. So what that allowed the U.S. government to say is they could print as many US dollars as they want, just as a promissory note saying that the government promises you that this piece of paper has value. And but there is no real value backing the US dollar. So you could print you can still print an infinite number of US dollars. Over here, you will never have more than 1 billion unit tokens, right? In the case of Bitcoin, you're never going to have more than 21 million Bitcoins. 19 million of the 21 millions have already been minted, and the balance 2 million or 3 million will be minted over the next 120 years. That's hard coded in the technology.
So, for example, I was thinking about this today. I was walking around New York this morning, and we're promoting a New York token to support the New York economy that would then support New York businesses, right? And I was walking and I was looking at the businesses, opening up this morning, and I was thinking, why are they going to accept New York tokens, right? Why are they actually in the future going to prefer New York tokens to US dollars? And it's because the US dollars over time are going to lose value, whereas the New York token over time is going to gain value, right? So I think this helps us to understand why we're one of the many reasons why we're going to see a transition to a token economy, right? Ankur, please keep going.
Yeah. So that's you can get all of that overview right here, where you say, okay, it's going to be $1 million of $1 million tokens of unit, the current circulating supply. So you can gauge how early or late a certain project or a company is. So in Unit's case, we're just like 14% out of the whole token that is circulating at this point in time. You can see what the market cap, the total market cap is. What does the total market cap mean? Is the current price of unit multiplied by the total number of the tokens you're going to have. That's the total. So that's called FDV also, which is fully diluted value. And then we have the circulating supply. That means out of the 139 million tokens, our circulating supply valuation is 61 million versus our fully diluted valuation is about 438 million. These are just terms that you can use to gauge the value of a particular project again, right? It's all there in the transparent view. Then we have the exchange price and we have the pool value. You can have your websites, you can have some socials. This is the overview. Then you can go and see who your team members are. So currently active team members in Unit are 19, right? And you can actually also see the advisors of Unit over here. and you can actually go inside any project and see the performance of the team members, right? So I won't go into the technical details. This is just to show how it looks. So you can see we have Zachary, Joe, Ankur, Michael. You can see how they're performing. These are different metrics that we engage. So everything is documented. So any project, before investing or before joining, you can go and see how the team is performing. Is it active? It is dormant? Is there things happening? All of that is very clear. Moving forward, we have a bank feature which we'll touch up upon. You can generate your bank sales, right? So outside of if you create a token, by default the token goes and sits in a bank, in your bank, right? And you as a token creator can decide the bank sale rounds as and when you want to release new tokens or fresh liquidity into the market. You can do that through this section of bank sales, right? Then this is the bank. This will give you the overview of what your bank holds. So whenever there is an investment at first, the first point is the money comes into your bank. And like the word suggests, you can use a bank as a bank, right? So to pay yourselves, pay salaries, pay vendors, use that for liquidity where you can exchange funds out of it, or you can choose to send funds into your treasury from here. Okay, and every bank transaction is recorded, and you can go back and track each and every transaction that's happened through the bank over here. This is what the bank is. Yes, exactly. You have a question?
Yeah, there's a question. They're asking what exactly is a bank sale? And I'm wondering if you could give an example of how someone might raise capital with a bank sale.
Sure. So if I come to the sale round over here, now there are two ways of selling tokens, right? Actually, there are three ways of selling tokens. So one is through a bank, the second is through your exchange, and the third is a secondary market, which is a peer-to-peer exchange. Right? For example, what I mean is Zach might have some unit tokens, and I might have some cash or whatever form of asset that Zach needs, and Zach can sell his unit tokens to me directly without touching the platform. So that's a secondary peer-to-peer sale, right? Now, when the bank sales, now if I'm going into the sale rounds, now if you see over here, you can see that we have different rounds that we have preset. Now, these are the rounds that we want to sell the unit token at gradually. Now, who decides this price is the token creator. Can decide what price do they believe that their token should be valued at, and they can set rounds. Now, I can very easily go and set $1,000 for unit today. The technology allows me to do it, but does it mean that say if I create an Ankur token and I keep a value of say $1,000, I can do that technically, but doesn't mean that my token will sell. It might just, but I'm saying there's no guarantee that just because I have decided it is going to be $1,000, it's going to sell. So how do we mitigate that, right?
Can I give an example, Ankur?
Yeah.
So I'm also a filmmaker, and let's just say, for example, I'm making my next movie, which is called New York Stories, right? And I'm still at the writing stage, and I'm thinking, okay, I need like 3 months to go and write, and I'm going to need say $10,000 to support myself while I do that. So I may sell some tokens for New York Stories, and the first round may be a really good investment for people because I'm going to sell those tokens really low because there's still a lot of risk, right? What if I write a bad story? What if we can't get funding later to make it? But then after I do that first section, I may do a second sale round, which is pre-production. And those are going to be more expensive. And when we get to the final stage of my film, when, for example, we need a marketing campaign, but the film is already finished. We already have stars. It's been color corrected. It's been sound designed. The people who are putting in money later are taking less of a risk than the people who put in the beginning, which is why I may be selling those tokens for more money at a later sales round, right?
Absolutely.
So that's just one example of how I could use different priced sales rounds and why I might use them like that. And of course, every business is different.
Smack on. Absolutely, Zach. So like you call it, you can, I mean, in traditional finance, we can call it pre-seed, seed plus, pre-series, series A, so on and so forth. And or you could have like different trajectory, and you can have, increased pricing between rounds. And obviously the market price will decide whether there's demand for your tokens or not. So this is where you can go and create. We'll go through an example of how to create the rounds as well. And you can see the completed round. So if you have multiple rounds, you can actually go and see the journey of unit also. So we had 10, 20, 32, 52, 85, 135, 2.2 to 3.59. But these were really early. So we've actually done a rebase, and we've got everyone who invested in all of these rounds were brought back to a starting line of 13 cents, and we kind of reset our the whole network again. So that's why the current round is at 50 cents. Anyway, moving beyond that. So we've seen the sale, we've seen the bank. Now this is the treasury. Now this is where the magic is happening. This is quite unique to Unit. Like, you must have heard of the treasury mechanism for many DAOs, or treasury in its true sense, which is, like there's a fund in the treasury, which is a pool of money, which is going to be used for growth, marketing, salaries, etc. In our case, we do not, any funds that are sent to the treasury, they are locked, and only a token holder, if you see this redeem option, can redeem value out of the treasury to proportion to the tokens they hold. Now, don't have to get into the technicalities of it. What it means is, whatever. So let me talk about Unit. And to each founder or to each token creator, they can create their own metrics or own mandate. But in Unit, whatever funds we raise, 90% of that gets locked into the treasury, and it provides for a floor price for a particular token, and also a backing for a particular token. So in Unit's case, we've raised, say, $13 million. Out of the $13 million, $10 million was sent to the treasury, which is currently at 4.74 million because of the market downtrend. Now, out of the 4.475 million, this is what is backing the Unit price and the Unit token. So you can see we have 143 Bitcoins, which is almost 3 million. We have 648 Ethereums, which is a little over 1 million. So this is, anyone can come and see how healthy or unhealthy, or, what is the backing of your token. So in this case, you can see that out of the 4 million, 3 million is by Bitcoin and Ethereum, which is probably the most strongest crypto assets that ever exists as of today in the last 12 years. And in all probability, I don't know about Ethereum, but in all probability, Bitcoin will continue to stay the most valuable crypto ever. So this is, again, like, transparent, and everyone can use this. So, some examples, again, as a token creator, you can choose to put 20% of your revenues or 20% of your profits into the treasury, right? So over time, your investors, your stakeholders, your employees, your customers can all enjoy, whoever hold your tokens will enjoy the upside of the treasury also, and the backing. So in essence, unless Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, Binance Coin, Matic, they all go to zero, Unit can never go to zero, right? So this is the floor price, which is little like about half a cent, roughly. Over time, we believe that these crypto assets will do phenomenally. If the industry does well, so will the floor price. The second way the treasury works is with every exchange that happens. We'll go to the exchange next, but with every exchange that happens on the platform, we take a 2% fee, and that's the revenue model for Unit. 0.5% to 1% of it comes into the treasury. So this 21,000 USDU that you see over here is generated from the exchange fees. So as more and more tokens get created on the Unit platform, and more exchange happens on a daily basis, the USDU will keep filling up the treasury, and in theory, the floor price will keep rising for any token.
And what is, Ankur, what is having a floor price? What does that mean for investors compared to like the speculative nature of crypto right now?
So I wouldn't say most, but all crypto assets today are speculative. what does speculative means is it's a perceived value of the price of the token, right? Based on demand, supply, and the liquidity. So we have that. We have that in an exchange. Our speculative price for unit today is around 50 cents or 47 cents or 44 cents. It keeps fluctuating. But our floor price is half a cent, right? So you can always see that even in equity and stocks, you'll always have a book value and a speculative value, right? For you, be it Apple stocks or Facebook or Google's, or so be it, right? They always have a book value. Now, book value is certain by the assets, the goodwill. That's what defines the book value or face value of a share. But the trading value is always a multiple of the book value. That's what the floor price is. So, for example, we are a 10. We are currently trading at a 10x of our floor price. So as an investor, you can decide whether is it neutral, is it, so it could be that tomorrow we trading at 100x of our floor price. It could be that we are at our floor price. The trading price and the floor price are the same. So as an
Right.
investor, I can see what is my up and what is my downside, right? So if I'm trading at 100x, that means that, okay, maybe it's a little hot right now. Let it cool off. Let the price cool off, and then I'll choose to invest. Or
This is
maybe I
great.
can just nibble a little bit. Let me just get, like, wet my beak. Let's see. Let's start off with a very small investment. See how the price is going. If I'm still bullish on everything else, if I see a very healthy treasury, if I see a very healthy team, and I see good activity with the team, I see good activity with the community, then maybe 100x is also good enough for me. Okay. So it's just transparent view of what's really happening in a company or a project or a community or a group for you to make your decisions, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. This is great. And I want to go back to, this is one of our, the bigger mission at Unit is to create greater wealth equity in the world. And really right now, there's a great majority of people who are operating with debt. And we're hoping that in the next years, we can start to convert people to investors. So not only are people paying off their debts and saving, but they're having a little bit extra to where they can actually start investing. And they don't have to be big investments. Like Unit today is 50 cents. So like if I go to the corner and I buy a coffee for $5, that's a great warm cup of coffee. But if I made it at home today and I took those $5, I could buy 10 units, which potentially could have a really big upside, right? And I think that's, everybody is going to be able to invest depending on their own circumstances and what they're doing. There might be someone who says, you know what, I'm going to buy a couple dollars worth of this token each day because my daughter was just born. And I'm hoping that when she's 20 years old, there'll be enough to pay for her to go to college, right? But the idea is we really want to kind of create more financial literacy and more freedom, right? So what Ankur's just been talking about, a lot of these features are just information so that people can go on and they can understand, okay, how much is this trading at compared to how much is actually in the floor price, right? They can actually look at it and say how many assets are actually backing this. And like he showed, you can see how many token holders there are. Is this a token that has 10 holders or do they have 10,000, right? Because 10,000 would tell me, oh, this is more of a community, probably a thriving community, right? I can also see who are the token holders. So if I were making my movie in New York and you said, oh, Martin Scorsese is one of the biggest token holders, it might give you confidence that, oh, we're going to be able to pull this movie off, right? So again, it's just a level of transparency to know who the team members are and what the state of the business is. Please, Ankur,
Yep.
keep going.
Yeah, so absolutely. It's like, so this is a leaderboard of the community. So Unit has a 2,905 holders currently. You can actually see who's holding what. So, absolute transparency, the percentage. So over here, Mary Laure owns 2%, 2.81% of the total tokens. Jay Cash, and you can actually go inside and evaluate their profile. So if I click in this, I can actually go and see what's the profile. Okay, in this case, we don't have too much information, but people would have, like, let's say, let's go to Cat, and you'll have like a history, you'll have some bio, you'll see what teams is Cat involved with, how many tokens has Cat created. So you can evaluate the quality, not only the quantity, but also the quality of the community that. So, all this information is available before you choose to either join the team, use this goods or services, or invest in any project, right? So, complete transparency here.
And
Moving on
these
to
are features that every person who creates a token, they get these
absolute,
features, correct?
absolute, and it's all for free. This is the exchange. So this is basically in the 6 weeks, you must have heard about a decentralized exchange. That's what this is. Basically, if you've heard about Uniswap or 1inch or Pancake Swap, is the same technology that we use of an automated market maker. Can anyone tell me what are the two different kind of technologies that can be used for a decentralized exchange? You should have learned it in the 6 weeks. So one is an automated market maker. The second, anyone? Just put in the chat quickly. No? Okay. So the second one is an order book. What it means is you can place an order that you want to sell your token at this price, or you want to buy a token at this price, and then someone comes in, matches your order, and then it's a peer-to-peer transfer. That's an order book. The second method is an automated market maker. Is that what we use? Because in that, you don't need to wait for anyone to buy the token off you, but you trade against a pool, right? There is a liquidity pool, which is taking the token, the native token of that project, and providing the stable coin, in our case, USDU, and there's a liquidity pool. So people can buy and sell off that liquidity pool. And based on the number of people buying or the number of people selling and the liquidity, the price automatically moves, right? So for example, if I want to buy some units, then give me a live example. Currently, off the exchange, I can buy it for 44 cents, right? Everyone can see that. So let's do an example. Let's do an experiment, okay? So if I want to buy 100 units, I can still buy it at 45 cents. But if I want to buy 1,000 units, I can buy it for 46 cents. But if I want to buy 10,000 units, I can buy it only at 58 cents. And if I want to buy 100,000 units, I can buy it at $1.78. So this is what an automated market maker is. So based on the demand and supply, there is a price movement in your token. Similarly, if I want to sell my units, you can see I can sell at 44 cents. The same thing will happen where the price will move downwards. So if I'm selling 100, I can sell it at 43, 1,000 at 42, 10,000 at 38 cents, and 100,000 at 18 cents. Right? So this is an exchange. Yeah.
Yeah. Ankur, I want to ask, because this is one of the biggest hurdles. So for example, in the past, say even 2 years ago, if you wanted to create a token for your business, it probably would have cost a couple $100,000. And then once you've created your token, you have the obstacle of having it listed on exchanges where people can actually trade it, correct?
Okay, go on.
And so one of the things we're doing at Unit is if everyone who creates their token also has the ability to have a built-in exchange, and they can create their own pairs, yes?
I'm not sure if you can create your own pairs, but you'll have a pair. I mean, you'll have the liquidity with USDU on our case, but you'll have eventually the technology does not allow you today, but eventually we'll be able to take your token created on Unit outside to any other platform, including a centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. But that's something which will happen later down the line. It's not active right now, so you could still do that building on Unit as well.
And what would be one of the benefits of having your token traded on Unit?
So all the features, right? So we have our own exchange, we have our own wallet, we have our own community services. So I'll come to the community services next, which is yeah.
What about revenue?
Correct. So it's inbuilt in the technology where whenever there is an exchange, there's a 2% fee that the platform charges. Now, how does that 2% fee get divided? 0.5. Say I create an Ankur token, and Zach owns some Ankur token, and Zach decides to sell some Ankur tokens. So he'll have to come to the exchange and he will have to sell them tokens. Suppose Zach sells $100 worth of Ankur tokens. 2% of that is the fees that the platform charges. Now, 0.5 of that will go to the unit treasury. 0.5 of that will go to the Ankur treasury. 0.5 of that will go to the liquidity providers for the Ankur token, which allowed Zach to sell the his holding of Ankur, and the balance, the last 0.5, will go to the person who brought Zach onto the platform. So that's how the revenue is shared to the whole community.
Yeah, and I just want to point out that the way that model is built is, so let's just say, for example, Marcella goes on and creates her token. I don't know, maybe she's a musician and she's going to be selling albums. But it's built in that the exchange, anytime anyone is buying or selling the Marcella tokens, a small percentage of that, 0.5% of the transaction fee, is going back into the treasury, right? So that over time, the floor value of her token should be continuously increasing. And the same thing you can imagine for Unit, right? So because Unit is the token that's going to support the entire ecosystem, imagine every token being exchanged, and this could be, let's say in the future, let's say a couple of years from now, there's 1 billion tokens. So every exchange happening, there's a small percentage of that transaction fee that's going back into the Unit treasury, right? And that, again, is strengthening the price of the unit, but it's also strengthening the entire ecosystem, right? So I just wanted to point that out, which is why that would be beneficial to trading on Unit as opposed to on some outside platform, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah, moving forward, if you want to provide liquidity, this is where you do. So you come and stake. You'll have to add number of USDU and units. So like say if I have a balance of 342 USDU. So if I add 342, it automatically calculates the amount of unit I will have to stake. And if I hit stake over here, I will get a certain percentage of the total liquidity as that I have out of this. I will get that as my pool that I'm providing, and that's the fees that I will enjoy, right? So again, you can see all the liquidity providers to the percent. So Alec over here has provided 31% of the total liquidity that is available as of now. Solid 808 provides 16%. Sense provides 6.73%. So you can actually see who all are the liquidity providers over here. You can see the staking, unstaking, every transaction of staking and unstaking, and who's doing it, everything over here. Similarly, if I come back to the exchange here, you can see everyone who's buying or selling at what quantity. So you can get a general trend of are more people buying or more people selling, or like all of that is there in complete transparency over here. So that's the exchange, and every token created gets the exchange as well. Moving on to community. Now, this is not 100% live yet, but it's going to be deployed very soon. Again, I'll just reiterate that this is a very first version of the UI UX. As we speak, we have a complete different dashboard being built, and which is a lot more shinier and more Web3 friendly and more intuitive, with a lot more lot of exciting stuff happening. So maybe by the end of next cohort, when we do this demo again, you'll be looking at a different platform altogether. And hopefully the community services will be live as well. So what are the different community services? Let's just skim through quickly. So bond staking, as a token creator, you can create a utility for people to come and stake your token to earn more tokens. You can define rules behind of how you want to distribute that staking rewards. Like I mentioned about P2P, so we rather than you're talking to people on the phone or on Telegram or Discord or any other thing, we giving that inbuilt feature where you can have secondary exchange of tokens on the platform itself. As a token creator, you can run contests and have bounties. It could be you need a new design work, or you need some research papers purposed, or you need some volunteer, or anything. It could be any form, or you want to do some crowd thinking of running contests. You can do that over here. You can release papers about your project, or some research papers about a particular industry over here. You can create sub events. You can have community events, which you can create over. You can have virtual events. We'll have an integration with a video conferencing app and all of that. You can have polls. Now, this is where the DAO feature comes in. You, as a founder, you can decide you want anybody and everybody to come and vote, or you want to keep it a token gated. That means that only token holders can come and vote. You can also have logic behind, if you want to have slabs, like only tokens worth $10,000 can come and vote. All of that logic will be provided. And as a token creator founder, you can decide how you want to deploy that feature. You can have FAQs over here. You can have sub cohorts, groups. Similarly, like how unit is a cohort, we can host our own unit network on the platform, unit masters on the platform itself. You have a ranking is basically, you could rank people on activities or token holdings or all of that. You can release news like a headline about what your project is up, what your community is up doing, and you can get people to vote whether they like it, don't like it. So you can get market intelligence here. You can create virtual meets. You can have rewards. Uh, you can have a digital storefront. You can sell your goods and services, and like any e-commerce platform, you can decide to choose multiple tokens to do this as well, including your own token. So right now, all the features are not completely live, but they're going to go live really soon. And they'll be pivoting. So this is the first version of it, but as we build more, we'll see more versions of it. Now, coming on.
Ankur, we have a
Yeah,
question.
please.
It's a question from Norbert, and he says, could you kindly share an example of staking and how does it work in practice? And he's also wondering if you could talk also about impermanent loss.
Right. So I will not get into too much of the technicality of the impermanent loss, but what impermanent loss means is, since you have a very active animal, which is a token, and the price is always changing, which is either increasing or decreasing. So say, for example, currently the unit price is at 44 cents, and I provide liquidity, which example that I gave, that I put 342 USDU, and it gives me about 77 units. I'm providing liquidity with that value at this point of time. But what if the unit value goes to $1, right? So the value of the pool has changed. So in some cases, if the price goes up or down, what you get back from the pool, there might be an impermanent loss. So till you don't, obviously the loss is not realized till you don't unstake your pool, but there is something like an impermanent loss. So I might put in 100 units, but the value of those 100 units might be worth 60 units because of the price movement. And it could be vice versa as well, where my 100 units could become 120 units depending on the price movement. Now, it's a very technical term, and there is a lot of there are documentaries, videos explaining impermanent loss. I would actually encourage everybody to just Google impermanent loss and automated market maker impermanent loss. There are tons of videos out there explaining very simply also how this works. One of my favorite channels are Whiteboard Crypto. So if you actually YouTube Whiteboard Crypto, it makes animated videos and explains concepts in like 3 to 4 minute videos as simply as possible they can. So just look at a Whiteboard Crypto. Yeah, and the second question was, sorry, you're muted, Zach.
Yeah, it was if you could kindly share an example of staking and how it works in practice.
Okay, so I'll give you an example of the unit staking. So this is a single bonded staking, right? Why can't I see? See, as I speak, things are changing. So there, we used to have the unit staking here, which is moved somewhere else. Zach, do you see it?
I think if you click on unit network, then you'll see it.
No, it used to be here, right under vaults. It's moved somewhere. So
For the bond staking.
The bond staking, yes. I don't see it anywhere now. Right now.
I don't see it right now.
Yeah. So as we speak, the product team is making some updates. So
yeah.
So basically, in case of unit, so we have, out of our total tokenomics of 1 billion tokens.
Ankur, there's an update right there on your screen under the status.
Sorry.
Right there, vaults by Michael. No, go back. It was right there. Right there under the news feed, the very first status.
I don't see it.
On the right side, it says news feed.
I don't see that either.
You see where it says post?
Yeah, okay. Vaults, bond staking, decentralized deposits, withdrawal are almost live. Doing testing. So yeah, that's what. So Michael's just so Michael's he's like great. Thank you, Michael. So yeah, so basically out of the 1 billion tokens that unit has, we have allocated 200 million for bond staking rewards. And we've, like Bitcoin, where every 4 years there's a halving, we have a 10-year cycle. So every 10 year, the reward is halving for us. So for the next 50 years, we are going to distribute the 200 million unit tokens as rewards for bond staking. And the mandate for staking is, once you provide a token for bonded staking, there is a 30-day unstaking lock-in. Does that make sense? So yeah, so that's what bonded staking is. And again, I don't want to be too technical, but for those who understand consensus mechanisms and the Polkadot ecosystem, the Polkadot has something called the parachains. So Unit will use the parachains to start the decentralization for our blockchain. But eventually, we'll want to be our own relay chain, which will be done through the bonded staking mechanism. So people who provide their units for the bonded staking become validators for the unit blockchain. But that's maybe something a year down the line.
Amazing.
Forget that. Yeah, if the last 30 seconds was even remotely confusing, just forget that I mentioned it. We can have a deeper conversation anytime later.
Can you show me the Explore tab if I just wanted to go
Yes.
and see like what tokens are available right now?
Absolutely. So again, the first version, this is where you can see all the tokens that are created on Unit network. You can search by usernames, or you can simply browse. Then you have you can scroll through the city tokens, industry tokens, crypto tokens. Again, this is like the first version of it. We'll have a marketplace. We'll have more intuitive way of filtration and a lot more autumn. So maybe if you log in from, maybe your preferences will, like just like Amazon, the platform will become more intuitive and will do recommendations based on your activity on the platform. But that's all again something which will happen down the line. So these are all the
Yeah. I have a question. Let's just say, for example, I went through maybe even 2 unit masters, right? I've been through Cohort 12, or Cohort 11, I've done Cohort 12, and I feel like I really have a good grasp, and I have an idea for a business that I want to tokenize, and I have a reason why it should be on Web3, and maybe even I have a community, right? I might have maybe 100 people that are already part of this community, and we understand how we can connect to bigger communities. What would you recommend if I was like, okay, I want to launch a token, but I don't know how to do my tokenomics or my business model? What would you recommend to me?
So 2 words: Unit Ventures. Just like Unit Masters, we have launched a Unit Ventures program, which is a natural progression. So people who want to come and build, okay, let me just show you how easy it is to build on Unit, right? Just the first person to reply to this on the chat, give me a name. The first person to reply to a message right now.
Username, right? Okay, it looks like Luke.
Let's say Vikas. Vikas, what business are you in?
Consulting and coaching.
Perfect. So let's say Vikas consultant, right? Just to consultancy, Vikas consultancy, right? So that's your business, and you want to come and create tokens on Unit. So, and you want to call it Vikas consultancy. Boom. Your tokens are created.
That was
So
fast.
by default, you have 100,000 tokens. Since I've created it, it shows Ankur is the manager. The date it is created. Now your token's created. Now, how do you make sense of this, right? That's where tokenomics comes in. That's how do you market your service? How do you build your team? All that will be covered in unit ventures. But just as the progression of the presentation, so we've just created a token for Vikas. Now, since there is no other holder, I can decide based on the business, right? How many tokens do I want? Is it going to be a large community, or is it going to be a very niche? Say I want to do crowd ownership of real estate. I'm never going to have more than 10 owners, right? So I will go and create only 10 tokens. So one token for each 10 owners, versus something like unit network, which we want to create billions of users onto the platform. So that's why we have billions of tokens, right? Similarly, based on your business model, you can decide how many tokens you want. So in this case, let's stick with 100,000 tokens, or you can maybe make it into 1,000,000 tokens, right? So I've just changed it to 1,000,000 tokens. Then you just add your description about what your business is. You can add your logo over here. You can add your website. Now, industry and city. If you remember, I mentioned we're building industry tokens and city tokens. So you can choose, say, because you live in India, I'm guessing, and you're living in Mumbai. Let's hypothetically say. So you can come and add Mumbai token over here, and you can add, say, something like we have education, just for example purpose. So we have an education token, and we have a Mumbai token, and a community behind these two tokens. So you can choose to tap into these networks that unit is building via this. Similarly, we have multiple stable coins. All the leading fiat currencies of the world will have a representation on the unit network. You can choose to decide, okay, in this case, let's say I want to stick to USDU, right? Which is the USDU valuation. Or there can be an INRU on the platform, which is an Indian rupee on the unit network. So you can choose which community and which holders do you want to onboard. Similarly, there'll be an agency which is not active at this point of time, but there will be an agency which you can tap into. So these are basically boosters to a token economy, right? So outside of your inner circle and your immediate clients, these are value adds that you can tap into from the unit network. Then you have your socials: Telegram, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, WhatsApp, YouTube. You can have your pitch deck. You can have, again, some social. Now you can decide out of the 1,000,000 tokens, because you can decide how much do you want to keep for your team and how much do you want to open up in the market, right? So say out of the 1,000,000, you want to keep 100,000 for your team, or maybe 20% for your team. So that's 200,000 for your team, and the balance is open for your communities, for your advisors, for your clients, for your customers, for your vendors, for your teachers. So be it. So you can define all of that over here, and if you update everything, I'll update it right now, and let's move ahead. So you can see the number has changed. It's 1,000,000 tokens. You can see which table do we accept, INRU. Similarly, you can go and add team members easily. You can add advisors to your project over here. You can come and create your sale rounds over here. So let's actually go through the sale round. So if you come here, click new stage. So you can decide what price. Say I want to sell $1, right? How much do you want to sell out of the 1,000,000 tokens? How many do you want to release in the market? You can control all of that as a token creator. Say out of the 1,000,000, I want to do a round of 100,000. Then who can access this round? Do you want to do a closed round only for team members and advisors, or you want to open it up to your community at large? You can define all of those measures. You can have a system where you have a referral fee inbuilt in your tokenomics. So you can define a certain percentage as a referral fee for people to go and promote your token sale to their networks, and they get rewarded by that, and it's all inbuilt in the technology and the platform. You can do all of that. by just adding stuff here, right? You can have like a 5%, 10% cash reward and a token reward mechanism all inbuilt. There's another feature which is going to come in. You can whitelist. So if you want to give it to a community, but you want to give it to certain selected people from your community, you'll have a whitelist mechanism where you can physically whitelist a certain set of people to buy into particular round. So all those permutation combinations will be provided to creators. And once you've created your sale rounds, it will reflect over there. You'll have the upcoming rounds and the completed rounds all visible for everyone to see. Moving into the bank. So as for unit, we saw the bank. The first sale comes into the bank, and from the bank we can decide how do you want to use the feature, right? So if I go to transfer, I can transfer to a particular user, I can transfer to a treasury, or I can convert into tokens, right? So these are the three mechanisms that you can use the bank for. Treasury, again, once you've sent money to the assets to the treasury, it comes in here in public eye. As the assets keep coming in, it will start reflecting over here, and your floor price, your treasury balance, etc. will start reflecting over here, and all the history of the treasury will come in over here. This is your invite. By default, you get like a personal invite, and you can use this QR code or invite to send onboard people, and your community members can generate their own personal links to invite people. So this is how the tracking happens. And when you put some logic of the referral and the logic and the referral fees and bonuses, the tracking is done through the personal invitation links that you can create automatically. As people start buying or you start distributing tokens, the leaderboard gets purposed. This is like a chat mechanism where Michael just responded, updating about the features. Your community can use this to update what's happening. The team can use this to update what's happening. Similarly, you can add advisors over here. You can add, let's go through the team members. So obviously your team member will need to have a unit network ID. Once that happens, you can add people here. You can allocate, say X number of tokens to a team member for onboarding them. You can decide a cliff period and a vesting period so that so that no one just takes your tokens and then stops performing, right?
Ankur, we're coming up on the 1 hour mark. So
correct.
I know there's a lot more features,
but I'm almost done. So
okay, go. Go for it.
I'm happy to take any questions, and I'm super excited to go on the vaults, but I don't think I should touch up upon the vaults at this point of time, because it's also very particular to the unit token and not the token for everyone. It's only for token unit. So happy to take the vault feature on another call, or we can form another ad hoc session for that. But I'm happy to take any questions, 5-10 minutes, and then we can wrap up.
Yeah. So Ankur, first of all, thank you so much. I know that there's so much involved in the DAO and token creation, in terms of, people who want to create their own tokens, people who want to come in and invest in other tokens, people who are liquidity pool providers. There's just so many different actors that all of you have learned about within this ecosystem. So I want to thank you. I just wanted to, sorry to cut you, Zach. So I'm just like we just created the Vikas token. So the Vikas consultancy in the Explorer, when I came and searched, I found it here in public view. I'm just going to go and delete it because this was just done for demo purpose. So perfect. Since there is no other token holder and no one else owns a Vikas token at this point of time, I can delete it. But once that happens, this option will go away. So I'm just going to go ahead and delete this token because this was done only for a demo. Yeah, sorry, continue, Zach. Wonderful. Yeah, I want to say one of the other things that's amazing about this is, a couple of weeks ago, I had to send money to someone in Lithuania, and it cost me $40, and it took like 5 days to do, right? And one of the benefits of digital currencies and tokens also is that it literally takes seconds to transfer tokens anywhere in the world.
Right.
I think is also just going to, especially for small businesses, we take out those extra fees that have been associated with moving money from one place to another.
Right.
So I wanted to, because it's the last Unit Masters course, I also wanted to just take a moment to tell you all that we're really excited, not only that you've gone through the program, that you've gained education, that you've probably made friends, but I want to extend an invitation, and we'll be putting this out in a newsletter at the end, but I want to invite you all that we have city groups around the world, Telegram groups with anywhere from 20 to 600 people that will allow you to kind of plug into a local ecosystem, right? So for example, Sibel, I don't know, maybe you're in Mexico City, right? So we want to just invite you, if you want to be plugged into a bigger community, that you could actually request for an invite for Mexico City. And then once you're part of that group, then you're more in touch with other Web3 happenings. If there's hackathons going on, when people are hiring for jobs, there's just a lot of information that is shared within these Telegram groups. There's oftentimes scholarships if you want to travel to a conference. There's tickets or discounts available. So I'm going to be offering that to everyone in the newsletter. And feel free to just kind of click on those links and say, hey, I want to be added here. We don't have cities everywhere yet. Obviously, we're still growing. So for example, maybe you're in Lyon in France, but you're going to say, okay, well, I'm going to join the Paris community for right now because that's going to give me updates on what's happening in France, right? And then eventually, I'm guessing as it grows, there'll be more and more chapters spread out. The other thing I just wanted to mention is, as we start to really grow, and I'm going to be heading this up, our city ecosystem, I'm going to be looking for ambassadors who are going to be people who are going to help grow those ecosystems. So it's somebody who would welcome new members to the group, who would invite new members to the group, who would post updates or opportunities. Like, now that you know about Unit Ventures, you might say that would be something that you would share with your group. So maybe you're, I don't know, in Ho Chi Minh City and you're part of that group and you want to let people know, hey, it's December, beginning of December. In a month, they're going to start the next Unit Ventures batch. So if you're interested in that, here's some information on what you could do to prepare yourself for your token launch, right? So Luki, amazing. Denver, yes, okay. We have a really great community in Denver. It's over 400 people already, and they're very plugged into ETH Denver. But yes, please reach out to me. I'm going to put my Telegram handle here. It's really easy. It's just my name, Zachary Kirschberg. And I'm going to say that we're also going to be, I'm going to be working closely with our industry partners. So we're also developing tokens for music, art. You saw Momoko on here, just invited you to art, fashion, hotels, all of the 50 biggest industries. So if you're plugged into a certain city or a certain industry and you want to help grow those ecosystems, reach out to me and I can share with you a little bit of, what our expectations would be and also what the benefits would be, right? And eventually all of those major city and industry tokens will have their own DAOs and their own pair of threads that will tie into Unit. So I anticipate that, for example, the first people to be ambassadors would then be the first people invited to be core team members of those DAOs. So again, I want to thank all of you. Ankur, thank you so much today. And if anyone has a last question, or Ankur, if you have any last.
Zach, while you were speaking, we just airdropped 100 Mumbai tokens to 3 participants of the session. That's how easy it was.
Amazing. Amazing. I love it. What was I going to say? Is there anything else, Agama, that you would like to add as one of the organizers here?
So yeah, I mean, get your if you still have to complete the courses over the week, the certificate minting is still going to be open. Agama, please share more details on that. You can mint your customized certificate. It's going to be open for some time. The next date for the next cohort is November 20th. Everyone's welcome to sign that up again. If you want to recommend people, please do that. We are also inviting partnerships for communities, startups, incubators, college, universities, student bodies, all to sign up for the program for absolutely free. We are never going to ask anyone to pay. We're never going to ask anyone to invest in unit. It's just let it be a natural progression if you believe in the vision. But we just want to educate as many people as we can. And so please help us in our journey. If you gained value from the program, the Unit Network on Twitter and hashtag Unit Masters. And if you want to deep dive further, you can also sign up for the Unit Ventures program, where we'll go through tokenomics, marketing in Web3, hiring a team in Web3, how do we circumvent or how do we tackle the regulatory hassles in Web3. And that's also a new program we are learning simultaneously. And yeah, just growing.
Wonderful. Yes. And I want to thank Luki for already reaching out to me. And I just saw that someone had just asked, is there any opportunity for learners? And I just want to say yes, that if you're still learning and it's new to you, an ambassador is a great way to get to know more and to learn more and to be more engaged. So please reach out to me and we'll get that started. So thank you all. And again, congratulations. I was right where you were a long time ago. And I really look forward to hearing all of your success stories, you know, like when Elias has his functioning token economy business, or Vikas or Tina, and being able to support you also in your endeavors and be part of your journeys. So thank you so much. I wish you all a wonderful weekend. And look out, we'll be having a postcard or a newsletter in a couple weeks, and that'll have a lot more opportunities for you.
Also, Agama, we're going to have a recruitment drive via our partners on the graduation day itself. So you know, like we're gonna, like, people want to find their first jobs in Web3. We've partnered with Recruin, who can help you land your first Web3 job as well.
Amazing.
Okay. Sure.
Thank you all.
Thank
Have
you.
a great weekend. Thank you, Agama.
Thank you, Agama.